My name is Ruth Patterson, and I'm 70 years old. I raised my daughter Vanessa as a single mother after my husband walked out when she was 3 years old. I worked 2 jobs to put her through college, helped her buy her first house, and babysat her 3 children for free for the past 12 years so she could build her career. But nothing, and I mean nothing, prepared me for the moment I stood in Vanessa's kitchen last Thursday, watching her pack my belongings into boxes, and heard her say, "Mom, you've become a burden. We can't do this anymore. We're moving you to Sunnyvale Senior Apartments next week." I looked at my daughter, at the woman I'd sacrificed everything for, at the boxes filled with my clothes and photos, and the few possessions I'd been allowed to keep in my room in her house. And I smiled. Not a sad smile, not a bitter smile, a genuine, knowing smile. "What are you smiling about?" Vanessa demanded. "This is serious. We've made our decision." "I know you have, sweetheart, and I respect that. When do you want me out?" "Next Thursday. We've already paid the first month's rent at Sunnyvale." "That's perfect timing, actually." "Perfect timing for what?" "You'll see." Vanessa looked confused. Her husband, Kevin, standing behind her, looked irritated. "Ruth, this isn't a joke. We're serious. You need to understand." "Oh, I understand perfectly. And don't worry, I'll be out by Thursday. In fact, I'll be out by Monday." "Monday, but we said Thursday." "Monday works better for me. Trust me." What Vanessa didn't know, what she couldn't have known, was that Thursday was closing day. The day I was finalizing the purchase of a beautiful 3-bedroom house on the lake. The house I'd been planning to buy for 6 months. The house I was buying with the $400,000 inheritance from my sister Margaret that Vanessa knew nothing about. But before I tell you about that house, before I reveal what happened when Vanessa found out what I'd been planning, I need you to do something for me right now. Hit that subscribe button. Click it. Then smash that like button, because this story is about to show you what happens when people take their mothers for granted. Turn on those notifications, that bell icon, because you need to hear what happened when my daughter realized I wasn't the burden she thought I was. And drop a comment telling me where you're watching from. What city? What state? What country? I need to know who's here with me, because what I did, smiling when my daughter called me a burden, it's going to show you that quiet strength is still strength. That being underestimated is sometimes the best advantage you can have. Now let me take you back to where this all started. Let me tell you how a mother who gave everything ended up being called a burden by her own daughter. To understand what happened, you need to understand my relationship with Vanessa. I was 22 when I married Robert Patterson. He was charming, handsome, and promised me the world. We had Vanessa when I was 25. When Vanessa was 3, Robert left, just walked out one day saying he wasn't ready to be a father. He moved to another state, remarried, and I never heard from him again. No child support, no visits, nothing. So I raised Vanessa alone. I worked as a secretary during the day and cleaned offices at night. I made sure Vanessa had everything she needed: good schools, nice clothes, activities she wanted to do. I went without so she wouldn't have to. When Vanessa got into a good college, I took out loans to help pay for it. When she graduated and wanted to start her career in marketing, I helped her with rent until she got established. When she married Kevin, I paid for half the wedding because Kevin's parents refused to contribute. When they bought their first house, I gave them $30,000 for the down payment, money I'd been saving for my own retirement. And when Vanessa had her first child, I quit my night cleaning job so I could babysit during the day while she worked. For free. For 12 years, I provided free childcare for 3 children. I thought I was being a good mother, a helpful grandmother, a blessing to my daughter's family. But somewhere along the way, Vanessa started seeing me differently. It started small, little comments. "Mom, can you pick up Emma from soccer? I have a meeting." "Mom, can you stay late tonight? Kevin and I want to go to dinner." "Mom, can you watch the kids this weekend? We need a break." At first, I said yes to everything. I wanted to help. I wanted to be useful. But then the requests became demands, and the gratitude disappeared. "Mom, You forgot to give Jake his allergy medicine. You need to be more careful. Mom, Emma says you let her watch TV instead of doing homework. That's not okay. Mom, you're spoiling the kids. Stop giving them so many snacks. I started feeling less like a helpful grandmother and more like an employee who wasn't doing her job well enough. Then, 2 years ago, Vanessa suggested I move in with them. Mom, you're getting older, and that apartment you're renting, it's expensive. Why don't you move into our house? We have that spare room. You can help with the kids and save money on rent. It seemed like a good idea at the time. I'd save money. I'd be closer to my grandchildren. I'd be part of the family. So I moved in. That's when everything changed. Living in Vanessa's house meant I was available 24/7. There was no going home at the end of the day. No time that was just mine. Mom, can you start dinner? I'm running late. Mom, can you fold this laundry? Mom, can you clean the kitchen? I wasn't just helping with the kids. I was doing household chores. Cooking, cleaning, shopping. I'd become a live-in housekeeper and nanny, unpaid. And any time I suggested maybe I should get my own place again, Vanessa would get upset. Mom, we're saving you so much money by letting you live here. The least you can do is help out around the house. Letting me live there, like I was a charity case. Meanwhile, I was still receiving my Social Security and a small pension from my secretary job, about $2,500 a month total. I paid Vanessa $800 a month for my share of expenses. I bought my own food, my own toiletries, paid for my own phone and car insurance. But Vanessa acted like I was living there for free, like I was a burden on their finances. 6 months ago, things got worse. Vanessa's marketing company downsized. She lost her job. Suddenly, money was tight. And suddenly, I became more of a burden. Mom, we can't afford to keep you here anymore. You're taking up space we could be renting out. I pay you $800 a month. That barely covers utilities. And you eat our food, use our water, take up a bedroom. Kevin thinks we should rent that room out for $1,200 a month. So you want me to pay more. We want you to understand that you're not contributing enough. Kevin and I have been talking. Maybe it's time you moved to a senior apartment, somewhere more affordable. I am contributing. I cook, I clean, I watch your children. You're supposed to do those things. You live here. That's when I realized Vanessa didn't see me as her mother anymore. She saw me as a burden, an expense, someone who owed them for the privilege of living in their house. I started making plans. Quietly, carefully. My sister Margaret had died 8 months earlier. She was 75, never married, no children. She left everything to me, her house, which sold for $480,000, and her savings of about $120,000. After estate taxes and selling costs, I inherited approximately $400,000. I didn't tell Vanessa. I didn't tell anyone. I put the money in a separate bank account and started planning my future. At 70 years old, I was going to buy my own house, a beautiful house, and I was going to live independently, on my own terms, without anyone making me feel like a burden ever again. I found the perfect place 3 months ago, a 3-bedroom ranch house on a quiet lake, 30 minutes outside the city, beautiful views, a big kitchen, a garden, room for my grandchildren to visit if they wanted to. The asking price was $385,000. I offered $375,000 cash. They accepted. Closing was set for next Thursday. I'd been counting down the days, knowing that soon I'd be free. Soon I'd have my own space again. Soon I wouldn't have to listen to Vanessa complain about how much of a burden I was. But I didn't plan to tell Vanessa about the house until after closing. I wanted everything finalized first. I didn't want her trying to talk me out of it or asking for money or finding some way to make it about her. And then, last Thursday, exactly 1 week before closing, Vanessa made her announcement. I came home from grocery shopping, with groceries I'd paid for myself, to find Vanessa packing my belongings into boxes. What are you doing? I asked. Mom, sit down. Kevin and I need to talk to you. We sat at the kitchen table. Kevin looked uncomfortable. Vanessa looked determined. Mom, we've been talking, and we've decided you need to move out. You've become a burden on our family. Financially and emotionally, we need our space back. I see. We found a nice senior apartment complex. Sunnyvale, it's affordable. They have activities, other seniors. It'll be good for you. And when am I supposed to move? Next Thursday. We've already paid the first month's rent. We want to help you transition. I looked at the boxes, at my clothes folded neatly, at my photo albums stacked in a corner. And I smiled. Because the universe had just handed me the perfect timing. Vanessa was kicking me out on exactly the day I was supposed to close on my lake house. That's perfect timing, actually, I said. Perfect timing for what? You'll see. Vanessa frowned. Mom, this is serious. We're not joking around. You need to understand that we can't support you anymore. I understand completely, and I'll be out by Monday. Monday, but we said Thursday. Monday works better for me. I have things to arrange. Kevin spoke up. Ruth, we're trying to do this gently. We know this is hard for you, but we need you to take this seriously. Oh, I'm taking it very seriously. Don't worry about me. I'll be fine. Where will you go on Monday? You can't just... I have arrangements. Don't worry about it. Vanessa looked suspicious. What arrangements? Mom, if you're planning to guilt-trip us or make us feel bad. I'm not guilt-tripping anyone. I'm respecting your decision. You want me out, I'll be out by Monday. And you'll go to Sunnyvale. I'll go where I'm going. You don't need to worry about it. After they left the kitchen, I went to my room and made phone calls. First, to my real estate attorney. Can we move the closing up from Thursday to Monday? That's very short notice, Ruth. Let me check with the sellers. He called back an hour later. The sellers are fine with Monday. They're actually happy to close earlier. Can you be ready? Absolutely. Next, I called a moving company. I need movers on Monday morning. Everything in my room plus some items I have in storage. We can do that. Where are we moving you to? I gave them the address of my new lake house. Finally, I called my friend Dorothy from church. Dorothy, I need a favor. Can I stay with you this weekend? Just Friday through Sunday night. Of course. What's going on? I'll explain when I see you. But Dorothy, don't tell anyone, especially not if Vanessa calls asking about me. You're being very mysterious, Ruth. I know, but I promise it'll all make sense soon. That evening, Vanessa knocked on my bedroom door. Mom, can we talk? Come in. She sat on my bed, looking guilty. I want you to know that Kevin and I aren't doing this to be mean. We need our space, and we think you'd be happier around other people your age. I understand, sweetheart. You're not mad. No, I'm not mad. Then why do you keep smiling? You've been smiling ever since we told you. It's weird. I'm smiling because I'm grateful. Grateful for what? For clarity, for understanding exactly where I stand, for knowing it's time to move on. Move on to where? You'll see on Monday. Mom, you're being cryptic. It's making me nervous. Don't be nervous. Everything's going to be fine. Better than fine, actually. She left looking confused. Over the weekend, I stayed with Dorothy. We had tea and talked and laughed. I told her everything, about Margaret's inheritance, about the lake house, about Vanessa calling me a burden. Ruth, I can't believe you kept that inheritance secret for 8 months. I didn't want Vanessa asking for money. She already got $30,000 from me for her house down payment. Margaret's money was for my future, not Vanessa's present. And you're really going through with it, letting her think you're moving to that senior apartment. I'm not letting her think anything. I'm just not correcting her assumptions. On Monday, I'll move into my house. And when she eventually finds out, she'll realize what she lost. What do you mean, what she lost? She lost a mother who would have helped her, supported her, been there for her. If she'd treated me with respect, if she'd appreciated me instead of seeing me as a burden, I would have shared Margaret's inheritance. I would have helped her financially. But she made her choice. You're stronger than I would be, Ruth. I'm not strong. I'm just tired. Tired of being taken for granted. Tired of being made to feel small. It's time I lived for myself. Monday morning came. The movers arrived at Vanessa's house at 8 a.m. Vanessa came downstairs in her bathrobe, confused. Mom, what's happening? Who are these people? Movers. I told you I'd be out by Monday. But where are they taking your things? To Sunnyvale? No, to my house. Your house? What house? The house I bought, the one I close on in about 3 hours. Vanessa's mouth dropped open. You bought a house. How? You don't have any money. I have plenty of money. I just didn't tell you about it. What money? Mom, what are you talking about? Margaret's inheritance. She left me everything when she died. Aunt Margaret, but that was almost a year ago. You never said. I know I didn't, because it wasn't your business. Kevin came downstairs. What's all the commotion? Ruth bought a house, Vanessa told him, her voice rising. She's been hiding money from us. I wasn't hiding anything. I just didn't share my private financial information. Private? Mom, you live in our house. We support you. We have a right to know. You don't support me. I pay rent. I buy my own food. I cook and clean and watch your children. If anything, I support you. The movers were efficiently boxing up the rest of my belongings. My furniture from storage was already loaded on the truck. Vanessa was turning red. How much did Margaret leave you? Enough to buy a house and live comfortably. And you were just going to leave without telling us, without offering to help us. Help you? Vanessa, you just told me I was a burden. You kicked me out. Why would I offer to help you? Because I'm your daughter. Because you're supposed to help your children. I have helped you. For 45 years, I've helped you. I paid for your college. I helped with your house. I watched your children for free for 12 years. I've given you everything I have. But it was never enough, was it? Mom, if we'd known you had money, you'd have treated me differently. You'd have been nicer to me. Vanessa, listen to what you're saying. The movers finished loading the truck. Mrs. Patterson, we're ready to go. Thank you. I'll meet you at the new house. I picked up my purse and headed for the door. Mom, wait. Vanessa grabbed my arm. You can't just leave like this. We need to talk. What about the kids? What about them? You said I was a burden. You wanted me gone. I'm gone. But we didn't know you had money. And there it was. The truth. Vanessa didn't care about losing her mother. She cared about losing access to money she didn't know I had. I pulled my arm free gently. Goodbye, Vanessa. Good luck with everything. I walked out to my car, got in and drove away. In my rearview mirror, I could see Vanessa standing in the driveway, staring after me in shock. And I was still smiling. Before I continue this story, kindly subscribe, turn on the notification bell, and tell me in the comments where you're watching from. I drove to the real estate attorney's office with a sense of freedom I hadn't felt in 2 years. Not since the day I'd moved into Vanessa's house and given up my independence. The closing took exactly 90 minutes. I signed papers, transferred funds, and received the keys to my lake house. Congratulations, Ruth, my attorney said, shaking my hand. You're officially a homeowner. Thank you. I can't wait to see it again. Again. I've driven by it every week for the past 3 months, just looking at it, imagining living there, and now it's mine. I drove straight to the house. The moving truck was already there, the movers waiting patiently. Mrs. Patterson, beautiful place you got here. Thank you. Let's get everything inside. The house was everything I'd dreamed of. Hardwood floors, big windows overlooking the lake, a kitchen with granite countertops and plenty of cabinet space, 3 bedrooms, one for me, one for guests, and one I planned to turn into a craft room. A house where I could breathe, where I could be myself, where no one would make me feel like a burden. The movers finished by early afternoon. I tipped them generously and watched them drive away. Then I stood in my living room in my house and I cried. Happy tears, relieved tears, free tears. My phone rang. Vanessa. I let it go to voicemail. She called again, and again, 10 times in 2 hours. Finally, she left a voicemail. Mom, pick up the phone, we need to talk. This is ridiculous. You can't just buy a house and not tell us. Call me back. I didn't call back. Instead, I unpacked. I arranged my furniture. I hung pictures on the walls, pictures that had been in storage because Vanessa said they didn't match her decor. I made myself dinner in my kitchen, sat on my back porch watching the sunset over the lake, went to bed in my own bedroom in my own house. It was the best night's sleep I'd had in 2 years. The next morning, I woke up to 23 missed calls from Vanessa and 6 from Kevin. And 1 text from a number I didn't recognize. Grandma, it's Emma. Mom is really upset. Are you okay? Can I visit your new house? Emma, my 12-year-old granddaughter, the oldest of Vanessa's 3 children. I texted back, Hi, sweetheart, I'm perfectly fine. And yes, you can visit, but you'll have to ask your mom. Emma, she says you're being selfish and unreasonable. Me, that's her opinion. I think I'm being independent and strong. What do you think? Emma, I think I miss you. I got used to you being here every day. That made my eyes water. I did love my grandchildren. I'd miss seeing them daily. Me, I miss you too. But Emma, I'm only 30 minutes away. We can still see each other. Emma, Mom says you abandoned us. Me, I didn't abandon anyone. I moved into my own house. That's different. Emma, can I come see it this weekend? Me, if your mom says yes, I'd love that. I knew Vanessa wouldn't say yes. At least not right away. She was too angry. But I hoped that eventually, once she calmed down, the kids could visit. I wanted a relationship with my grandchildren, just on my own terms now. My phone rang again. Vanessa, again. This time I answered. Mom, finally, why haven't you been answering? I've been busy settling into my new house. Your new house? I still can't believe this. How could you not tell us you had that kind of money? Vanessa, why would I tell you? You made it very clear I was a burden. Why would I share my financial information with people who saw me as an expense? We didn't mean it like that. Yes, you did. You told me I wasn't contributing enough. You said Kevin wanted to rent out my room for more money. You packed my belongings and told me to move to a senior apartment. You meant exactly what you said. We were stressed. I lost my job. Money was tight. We were just trying to figure things out. By getting rid of me, I understand. And I don't blame you. You made a decision that was right for your family. I made a decision that was right for me. But Mom, if we'd known you had money, we would have. Would have what? Treated me better. Vanessa, do you hear yourself? You're saying you would have been nicer to me if you'd known I was rich. That's not what I meant. That's exactly what you meant. And that tells me everything I need to know about our relationship. There was silence on the other end. Then Vanessa said, in a small voice, Are you punishing me? Is that what this is? No, I'm protecting myself. There's a difference. The kids are asking about you. They don't understand why you left. I didn't leave them. I left your house. Tell them I'd love to see them anytime. They're welcome to visit. Visit? Mom, they're used to seeing you every day. You were part of their routine, and now you just disappeared. I didn't disappear. I moved 30 minutes away. That's hardly disappearing. It feels like disappearing. It feels like you chose a house over your family. I chose myself over being treated like a burden. If that makes me selfish in your eyes, I can live with that. Vanessa hung up without saying goodbye. I sat on my porch, looking at the lake, wondering if I'd made the right choice. Not about buying the house, I knew that was right, but about how I'd handled it with Vanessa. Should I have told her about Margaret's inheritance? Should I have given her a chance to change? Or would she have just tried to manipulate me into giving her money? I called Dorothy. Did I do the right thing? Ruth, you did the only thing. Vanessa treated you terribly. She doesn't get to be upset that you protected yourself. But the kids. The kids will be fine. They're resilient. And once Vanessa calms down, she'll let them visit. She's angry now, but she'll get over it. What if she doesn't? Then that's her choice. But Ruth, you can't set yourself on fire to keep other people warm. You've spent your whole life sacrificing for Vanessa. It's okay to finally choose yourself. Over the next few days, I focused on making my house a home. I bought new curtains, planted flowers in the garden, set up my craft room with supplies for quilting and knitting. I joined the Lake Community Association, met my neighbors, went to a potluck dinner where I met other retirees who actually valued my company. For the first time in years, I felt like a person again. Not a burden, not a built-in babysitter, just Ruth. A woman with interests and friends and a life. But I missed my grandchildren, terribly. I'd text Emma occasionally. She'd respond, but always briefly. I could tell Vanessa was monitoring her phone. Then, 1 week after I'd moved out, I got a call from an unknown number. Hello? Ruth Patterson. Yes. This is Sarah Mitchell from Henderson Elementary School. I'm calling about your grandson, Jake. Jake, Vanessa's middle child. He was 9 years old. Is he okay? He's fine physically, but Mrs. Patterson, Jake has been having behavioral issues at school this week, acting out in class, fighting with other students. He's normally such a good kid, so we're concerned. I see. We called his mother, but she's been unresponsive. She said she's dealing with family issues and can't come to the school right now. We found your name listed as an emergency contact. Can you come in? Yes, I'll be there in 20 minutes. I drove to Jake's school, my heart pounding. What was going on with him, and why wasn't Vanessa handling it? The principal, Mrs. Mitchell, met me in her office. Thank you for coming. Jake is in the counselor's office right now. What happened? He got into a fight during recess. Another boy said something about his grandmother abandoning him, and Jake punched him. Oh no. Ruth, may I call you Ruth? Jake has been very upset this week. He told the counselor that his grandmother left and he doesn't know why. He thinks it's his fault. My heart broke. It's not his fault, not at all. That's what we told him, but he needs to hear it from you. They brought Jake to the office. When he saw me, he burst into tears and ran into my arms. Grandma, you're here. Mom said you didn't want to see us anymore. That's not true, baby. That's not true at all. I held him while he sobbed. This sweet 9-year-old boy who thought I'd abandoned him. Jake, listen to me. I didn't leave because of you. I left because I needed my own space. But I still love you. I still want to see you. Nothing about that has changed. Then why don't you come to our house anymore? Because I have my own house now. But you're welcome to visit me anytime. Mom said we can't. Why not? She said you chose your new house over us. She said you didn't care about our family anymore. I looked at Mrs. Mitchell. She looked sympathetic but also concerned. Jake, that's not true. I care about you very much. Your mom and I had a disagreement about grown-up things, but that has nothing to do with you. Then can I come visit your new house? I would love that, but I need to talk to your mom first. After calming Jake down and promising to work things out, I left the school and drove straight to Vanessa's house. I rang the doorbell. Vanessa answered, looking surprised. Mom, what are you doing here? The school called me. About Jake. He got into a fight because another kid said I abandoned him. Vanessa looked guilty. I didn't tell him that. Yes, you did. You told all 3 kids that I chose my house over them. Vanessa, their children. They don't understand adult conflicts. And now Jake thinks it's his fault I left. I was upset. I don't care if you're upset with me, but you don't use your children as weapons. You don't make them feel abandoned to punish me. I wasn't trying to punish you. Then what were you trying to do? Because right now, Jake is at school thinking his grandmother doesn't love him. Emma is texting me secretly because she's afraid you'll get mad. And I'm betting the youngest one doesn't understand anything except that grandma is gone. Vanessa started crying. You don't understand. When you left, everything fell apart. I have to find childcare now. I have to do everything myself. And I don't have a job yet, so we can't afford help. We're drowning, Mom. And whose fault is that? I offered to help. I was helping. And you called me a burden and kicked me out. Because I didn't know you had money. If I'd known. If you'd known. You would have asked me for it, and I would have given it to you, but only if you'd treated me with respect. Vanessa, do you understand? If you'd appreciated me, if you'd valued me, I would have helped you financially. But you made it clear I was just an expense you couldn't afford. I made a mistake, okay? Is that what you want to hear? I made a mistake. It's not about what I want to hear. It's about what you actually believe. Do you really think you made a mistake? Or are you just upset that you miscalculated? Vanessa looked away. That's what I thought, I said. Vanessa, I'm going to say this once. I will always be available to my grandchildren. They can visit me, call me, text me, anytime, but you and I, we need boundaries. I'm not your built-in childcare anymore. I'm not your housekeeper. I'm your mother, and I deserve to be treated like it. What does that mean? It means you need to figure out your childcare situation without me. You need to manage your household without me. And if you want my help with anything, financial or otherwise, you need to ask respectfully, not demand it. And if I do that, if I treat you with respect, will you help us? I thought about that. Maybe, if I believe the respect is genuine and not just because you want something. How do I prove that? Time, consistent behavior, treating me like a person, not an ATM or a servant. I turned to leave. Mom, wait. Can Jake really come visit you this weekend? He's been so upset. Yes, all 3 kids can come. I'd love to have them. Okay, I'll bring them Saturday morning. Thank you. As I drove back to my lake house, I felt drained, but also hopeful. Maybe Vanessa was starting to understand. Maybe this could be a turning point. Saturday morning, Vanessa brought all 3 kids to my house. Emma, Jake, and little Lily, who was 6, tumbled out of the car excited and wide-eyed. Grandma, this is your house, Emma asked, looking at the lake view. Yes, sweetheart, this is my house. It's beautiful. I gave them a tour, showed them the bedrooms, the craft room where I promised Emma we could make quilts together, the backyard where Jake could play by the lake, the kitchen where we'd bake cookies. Vanessa stood in the doorway, watching. When the kids ran outside to explore the yard, she said quietly, "It really is beautiful, Mom." Thank you. I'm sorry for what I said, for how I treated you. I was stressed and scared about money, and I took it out on you. I appreciate the apology. And I'm sorry I told the kids you abandoned them. That was wrong. Yes, it was. Can we start over, with boundaries like you said? We can try, but Vanessa, I need you to understand something. I'm not moving back in. I'm not being your free childcare. This house is mine, my space, my independence. I understand. And if you ever call me a burden again, if you ever treat me like I'm less than, we're done. I'll still be there for the kids, but you and I won't have a relationship. Do you understand? Yes, I understand. Good. We spent the day together. The kids played. We baked cookies. We sat on the porch watching the sunset. When Vanessa took the kids home that evening, Emma hugged me tight. Grandma, can we come back next week? Absolutely. After they left, I sat on my porch alone, thinking about how different everything was now. 1 week ago, I'd been living in Vanessa's house, being called a burden, packing my belongings to move to a senior apartment I didn't want. Now I was sitting on my own porch, in my own house, with my grandchildren excited to visit me. Vanessa had called me a burden, and I'd smiled. Because I'd known something she didn't. I'd known I had options, power, independence. And now she knew it too. My phone buzzed, a text from Vanessa. Thank you for today, the kids are so happy. And Mom, I really am sorry. I texted back, I know we'll be okay, it'll just take time. But as I sat there in the gathering darkness, watching the lights reflect off the lake, I wondered, was Vanessa really sorry? Or was she just sorry she'd lost access to me? Time would tell. And I had a feeling the answer would come sooner than I expected. Before I continue this story, kindly subscribe, turn on the notification bell, and tell me in the comments where you're watching from. 2 weeks passed. 2 weeks of the kids visiting every Saturday. 2 weeks of Vanessa being surprisingly respectful. 2 weeks of me enjoying my independence while still being part of my grandchildren's lives. Everything seemed to be settling into a good rhythm. Then, on a Tuesday afternoon, Vanessa showed up at my door unannounced. She wasn't supposed to visit without calling first. That was one of the boundaries we'd set. "Mom, can I come in? We need to talk." I let her in, already feeling uneasy. We sat in my living room. Vanessa looked nervous, fidgeting with her hands. "What's wrong?" I asked. "Nothing's wrong exactly. It's just, Mom, I got a job offer. A really good one. Head of marketing at a company downtown. It's everything I've been hopping for." "That's wonderful, Vanessa. Congratulations." "There's just one problem. The job is full-time. More than full-time, actually. They're expecting 50 to 60 hours a week during the first 6 months. I saw where this was going, and you need childcare." "Yes, Mom, I know we said boundaries. I know you're not my built-in babysitter anymore. But this job could change everything for our family. The salary is $120,000 a year. We could get back on our feet financially." "What does Kevin say?" "He works too. He can't change his hours. And Mom, childcare for 3 kids full-time costs almost $3,000 a month. We can't afford that, especially while we're still catching up on bills." "So you want me to watch the kids for free again?" "Not for free. I'll pay you whatever's fair. Please, Mom, this is my dream job." I looked at my daughter, at the desperation in her eyes, at the opportunity she was asking me to help make possible. "How much were you planning to pay me?" I was thinking $1,500 a month. That's half what professional childcare would cost, but it's something. And you wouldn't have to come to our house. We could bring the kids here after school. They love it here anyway. $1,500 a month to watch 3 kids full-time. That was about $10 an hour if I calculated all the hours. "Vanessa, professional nannies charge $15 to $20 an hour. For 3 kids full-time, you'd be paying $2,500 to $3,000 a month minimum." "I know, but..." "If I'm going to do this, I'm charging $2,000 a month. That's still a discount, but I'm not being taken advantage of again." Vanessa looked shocked. $2,000, Mom, that's fair, and it's non-negotiable. If you want professional childcare, go hire someone. If you want me, it's $2,000 a month and the kids come here. I'm not driving to your house every day anymore." "But that's almost all of the money I'd save." "Exactly. You're not saving money by using me. You're paying for quality care from someone who loves your children. Take it or leave it." Vanessa sat there, clearly doing math in her head. "Can I think about it?" "Sure, but Vanessa, if you take this job, you need to start in 2 weeks, so don't take too long to decide." She left looking frustrated, and I felt guilty for about 5 minutes before reminding myself I was setting boundaries. I was valuing my time and labor. There was nothing wrong with that. That evening, I got a call from Kevin. "Ruth, Vanessa told me about your conversation. $2,000 a month. That seems excessive." "Kevin, if you think it's excessive, hire someone else." "You're her mother. Aren't you supposed to help family?" "I have helped family for 45 years. Now I'm charging fair rates for my labor. If you don't like it, you have other options." "We can't afford other options." "Then you can afford me at $2,000 a month." "You're really going to charge your own daughter for childcare?" "Yes, just like she charged me $800 a month to live in her house while I cooked, cleaned, and watched her children for free. I'm done being taken advantage of, Kevin. The rate is $2,000. Final answer." He hung up on me. I wasn't surprised. Kevin had always viewed me as free labor. Now that I was charging my worth, he was offended. 3 days later, Vanessa called. "Mom, we'll pay the $2,000. I'm taking the job. I start in 10 days. "Okay, Let's set ground rules. Ground rules. Yes, if I'm providing childcare, we're doing this professionally. The kids arrive at my house no earlier than 7:30 a.m. They're picked up no later than 6:30 p.m. If you're late, it's $20 per 15 minutes. I get all major holidays off. If the kids are sick, they stay home with you or Kevin, not with me. And payment is due on the first of every month, no exceptions. Mom, this seems really formal. It is formal, because I'm running a business now, not doing you a favor. These are my terms. Fine, we agree. Good, I'll draw up a contract and we'll both sign it. A contract? You're really doing this? Yes, I learned the hard way that verbal agreements with you don't mean much. Everything in writing this time. I could hear the hurt in her voice, but I didn't back down. I'd spent too long being taken for granted. Samuel Green, my estate attorney, helped me draw up a simple childcare agreement. Vanessa and Kevin signed it reluctantly. And just like that, I was running an official in-home childcare service for my own grandchildren. It felt strange at first, charging my daughter for something I'd done for free for years. But it also felt right. My time had value, my labor had value, and I deserved to be compensated. The kids started coming to my house every weekday. I'd make them breakfast, get them on the school bus, pick them up in the afternoon, help with homework, make dinner, and keep them entertained until Vanessa or Kevin picked them up. It was exhausting, but at least now I was being paid for it. And the kids were happy. They loved being at Grandma's lake house. We'd go fishing after homework. We'd bake together. We'd do crafts in my craft room. I was still their grandmother, just a grandmother who valued herself enough to charge for full-time childcare. After the first month, Vanessa handed me a check for $2,000. Here, as agreed. Thank you. You know, Mom, this feels really weird, paying you to watch your own grandchildren. You didn't feel weird, charging me $800 a month to live in your house. That was different. How was that different? She didn't have an answer. But I could see resentment building. Vanessa didn't like paying me. She felt like I should be doing this for free out of love. Meanwhile, I was putting that $2,000 a month into a separate savings account. I wasn't spending it. I was saving it. For what, I wasn't sure yet, but I had a feeling I'd need it. 3 months into this arrangement, things started to change. Vanessa began showing up late to pick up the kids, first just 10 minutes, then 30 minutes, then an hour. Vanessa, you're an hour late. That's $80 in late fees. Mom, I got stuck in a meeting. I couldn't leave. That's fine, but the contract says late fees apply. You owe me an extra $80. Are you seriously going to charge me, your own daughter? Yes, because if I don't enforce the boundaries now, you'll keep pushing them. She paid the late fee, but she was angry about it. Then the kids started showing up sick. Mom, Emma has a bit of a cold, but she's fine. Can you still watch her? The contract says sick children stay home. It's just a cold. She's not contagious. Vanessa, I'm 70 years old. I can't afford to get sick. If Emma has a cold, she stays home. I can't miss work. This is my first few months. I need to make a good impression. Then Kevin stays home, or you figure out backup care. But I'm not taking sick children. You're being unreasonable. I'm following the contract you signed. More resentment, more tension. Then, 4 months in, I got a call from Emma on a school night at 9 p.m. Grandma, it's Emma. Can you come get me? Emma, what's wrong? Where are you? At home, but Mom and Dad are fighting really bad. They're yelling about money and work and you, and I'm scared. Is anyone hurt? No, just yelling, but Jake and Lily are crying. Can you come get us? Let me talk to your mother. She won't talk to anyone right now. She's locked in her bedroom. Please, Grandma. I got in my car and drove to Vanessa's house. Let myself in with the emergency key they'd given me years ago. Emma met me at the door, crying. Jake and Lily were hiding in Jake's room. I could hear Vanessa and Kevin shouting at each other through their bedroom door. Kids, pack an overnight bag. You're staying with Grandma tonight. What about school tomorrow? Emma asked. I'll get you to school, don't worry. I knocked on Vanessa's bedroom door. Vanessa, I'm taking the kids to my house for the night. Call me when you've calmed down. The shouting stopped. Vanessa opened the door, her face red and tear-streaked. Mom, what are you doing here? Emma called me. She was scared. Vanessa looked devastated. I didn't want them to hear that. Well, they did, and now they're coming with me. Figure out whatever's going on with Kevin and call me tomorrow. I took the 3 kids home, got them settled in my guest rooms, made them hot chocolate and let them watch a movie until they calmed down. Grandma, Emma said while we were tucking them in, are Mom and Dad going to get divorced? I don't know, sweetheart, but whatever happens, they both love you, and I love you, and you'll be okay. They were fighting about you, about how much Mom has to pay you. Dad says it's not fair. That's between your parents and me. It's not your concern. But it is our concern, because it's our fault you're charging them, if we weren't so much work. Stop, Emma, listen to me. This has nothing to do with you being work. This has to do with your parents learning to value the people who help them. Do you understand? Not really. You will someday. Now sleep, school tomorrow. The next morning, I got the kids to school and waited for Vanessa to call. She finally did at noon. Mom, thank you for taking the kids last night. What's going on, Vanessa? Kevin and I are having problems. The job is demanding. I'm working long hours. Kevin resents it, and we're fighting about money constantly, including the money you pay me. Yes, Kevin thinks you're taking advantage of us. He thinks you should watch the kids for free since you have Margaret's inheritance money. I see. And honestly, Mom, I'm starting to agree with him. You have almost $400,000 sitting in the bank. Why do you need my $2,000 a month? Because my $400,000 is mine. Your $2,000 is payment for services rendered. They're not connected. But if you weren't so stubborn about this, Kevin and I wouldn't be fighting. Vanessa, stop. Your marriage problems are not my fault, and I'm not going to subsidize your life with my inheritance so you and Kevin can avoid dealing with your real issues. What real issues? Money management, communication, respect. Kevin resents your job because it requires him to step up at home, and you resent paying me because deep down you still think I should be free labor. Those are your issues to work out, not mine. So you're not going to help. I am helping. I'm watching your children for below-market rates, but I'm not doing it for free. And if that's a problem, hire someone else. There was a long silence. Then Vanessa said, we can't afford anyone else. Then the rate stays at $2,000. Fine, but Mom, don't expect me to be happy about it. I don't expect you to be happy. I expect you to be fair. After that conversation, things deteriorated quickly. Vanessa started being hostile during drop-offs and pickups. Kevin stopped speaking to me altogether. The kids could feel the tension. Emma started asking if she'd done something wrong. Jake's behavioral issues at school returned. And I started wondering if I'd made a mistake, if enforcing boundaries was worth the damage it was causing to my family. Then, 6 months into the childcare arrangement, Vanessa showed up at my door on a Sunday evening, without the kids. Mom, we need to talk. Okay. We sat down. Vanessa looked serious. Kevin and I have been discussing our options, and we've decided we can't afford to keep paying you $2,000 a month. So what are you going to do? Kevin's mother is moving to town next month. She's offered to watch the kids for free. I felt a stab of hurt, but I kept my face neutral. I see. So we won't need you for childcare anymore after this month. Understood. That's it. That's all you're going to say. What do you want me to say, Vanessa? You found free childcare. I understand why you'd choose that. I thought you'd be upset. Why? You're making a financial decision that works for your family. That's reasonable. But what about the kids? What about our routine? The kids can still visit on weekends. Nothing about our relationship has to change except the paid childcare arrangement. Vanessa looked confused, like she'd expected me to fight or beg or offer to lower my rate. But I did none of those things. Because I'd learned something important over the past 6 months. I couldn't control how Vanessa treated me. I could only control how I responded. And my response was to respect her decision while maintaining my boundaries. "So that's it?" Vanessa asked. "You're just okay with this?" "Yes, you do what's best for your family. I'll do what's best for me." "And what's best for you?" "Having a relationship with my grandchildren without resentment or tension. If Kevin's mother watching them achieves that, then good." Vanessa stood up to leave. At the door, she paused. "Mom, why do you have to make everything so difficult?" "Difficult? Vanessa, I've bent over backward to accommodate you. I just refuse to be taken for granted anymore. If that's difficult for you, that says more about you than it does about me." She left without another word. And I sat in my living room, wondering what would happen next. Because I had a feeling this wasn't over. Not by a long shot. Before I continue this story, kindly subscribe, turn on the notification bell, and tell me in the comments where you're watching from. 3 weeks after Vanessa ended our childcare arrangement, Kevin's mother, Dorothy Hayes, moved to town and took over watching the kids. I didn't hear from Vanessa much during that time. The kids' weekend visits stopped. When I'd text Emma to ask about visiting, she'd respond that they were busy with Grandma Dorothy. It stung, but I reminded myself I'd set boundaries, and this was the consequence. Vanessa was choosing free childcare over a relationship with me. I focused on my own life. I joined a book club at the library, started volunteering at the senior center, made friends with my lake neighbors. I was building a life that didn't revolve around my daughter and her family. Then, 6 weeks after Dorothy Hayes arrived, I got a call from Emma. She was crying. "Grandma, can I come stay with you?" "Emma, what's wrong?" "Everything. Grandma Dorothy is mean. She yells at us all the time. She says we're spoiled and disrespectful, and Mom and Dad are fighting worse than ever." "Where are you right now?" "At home, but everyone's yelling and I just want to get away." "Let me talk to your mother." I called Vanessa. She answered on the 5th ring, sounding exhausted. "What, Mom?" "Emma just called me crying. What's going on?" "Nothing's going on. We're fine." "She doesn't sound fine. She says Dorothy is being mean to the kids." "Dorothy is just strict. The kids aren't used to that. They're used to you letting them do whatever they want." "I didn't let them do whatever they wanted. I gave them structure and love. There's a difference." "Look, Mom, I don't have time for this. We made our choice. Dorothy is watching the kids for free, which we desperately need. If the kids don't like her style, they'll adjust." "Vanessa, if your children are unhappy." "They'll survive. I survived a strict childhood. They can too." She hung up. I sat there, worried. But what could I do? Vanessa had made her choice. 2 weeks later, I got a call from Jake's school again. Mrs. Mitchell. "Ruth, I'm sorry to bother you, but Jake's been in 3 fights this month. His behavior is escalating. We've called his parents repeatedly, but they keep saying they're handling it. But clearly, they're not." "What's he saying about why he's fighting?" "He won't talk to us. But Ruth, something is very wrong. This isn't the Jake we knew when you were providing his care." "I'll see what I can do." I drove to Vanessa's house that evening, rang the doorbell. Dorothy Hayes answered. She was in her early 70s, thin, with a severe expression. "Yes." "I'm Ruth Patterson, Vanessa's mother. I'd like to see my grandchildren." "Vanessa's not home." "I'm here to see the kids, not Vanessa." "The children are doing their homework. They can't be disturbed." "I'll wait." "That's not convenient." "I don't care. I'm their grandmother and I'm not leaving until I see them." Dorothy tried to close the door. I put my foot in the way. "Mrs. Hayes, I don't want to make a scene, but I will if I have to. Let me see my grandchildren." She glared at me but stepped aside. I walked to the living room, where all 3 kids were sitting at the table with workbooks. "Grandma!" Lily jumped up and ran to me. Jake and Emma looked up hopefully. "Hi, Bobbies, how are you?" "We're fine," Dorothy said sharply. "As you can see, they're perfectly well cared for. Now if you'll excuse us." "Actually, I'd like to speak to the children privately." "Absolutely not. I'm responsible for them. And I'm their grandmother. 5 minutes, in the backyard." I took the kids outside, before Dorothy could protest further. "Okay, tell me the truth. What's going on?" Emma spoke first. "Grandma Dorothy is really strict. We can't watch TV. We can't play before homework is done. We have to eat everything on our plates even if we don't like it. And if we complain, she yells." "Does she hit you?" "No, but she says mean things. She says we're spoiled brats who don't appreciate anything." Jake added, "She says you ruined us by being too nice, that we need discipline." "And Mom and Dad don't stop her?" I asked. "They're never home," Emma said. "Mom works late. Dad works late. We barely see them. It's just us and Grandma Dorothy." My heart broke. These poor kids had gone from a loving, structured environment with me to a harsh, joyless one with Dorothy. "Do you want to come stay with me for a while?" I asked. "Yes," all 3 said together. "Okay, let me talk to your mother." I went back inside. Dorothy was waiting. "Mrs. Hayes, I'm taking the children to my house for the weekend." "You'll do no such thing. I'm in charge of them." "You're their babysitter, not their parent. And I'm their grandmother. Call Vanessa if you have a problem with it." I loaded the kids into my car and drove away before Dorothy could stop me. At home, I called Vanessa. "Mom, Dorothy just called me furious. You can't just take the kids." "I just did. They're miserable, Vanessa. They're scared of Dorothy. Jake's fighting at school again. This arrangement isn't working. They just need time to adjust." "No, they need love and stability. Things Dorothy isn't providing." "We can't afford your rates, Mom. You know that." "Then let me do it for free." Silence. "What?" Vanessa asked. "You heard me. I'll watch the kids for free. I don't care about the money. I care about them being safe and happy." "But you said you wouldn't be taken advantage of." "This isn't about me being taken advantage of. This is about my grandchildren being unhappy. That's more important than my pride or my boundaries." "I don't understand. Why would you offer this now?" "Because I love them, and because watching them suffer to prove a point isn't worth it. Bring them to my house Monday morning. We'll figure out the schedule." After I hung up, I looked at the 3 kids eating ice cream at my kitchen table, smiling for the first time in weeks. And I realized something. Boundaries were important. Self-respect was important, but love was more important. I'd been so focused on not being taken advantage of that, I'd forgotten what really mattered, being there for the people I loved. That didn't mean Vanessa could treat me badly again, but it meant I could make sacrifices when those sacrifices protected my grandchildren. Monday morning, Vanessa brought the kids to my house. "Mom, are you sure about this? Watching them for free?" "Yes, but Vanessa, we need new boundaries." "What kind of boundaries?" "I'll watch the kids Monday through Friday, no charge, but you and Kevin need to be home by 6:30 p.m. every day. No exceptions, no late nights, no stuck in meetings. Your children need their parents, not just their grandmother." "We can do that. And on weekends, I get at least 1 day off. The kids can visit if they want, but it's not automatic childcare. I have a life too." "Okay." "And Vanessa, you need to start family therapy. You, Kevin, and the kids, your marriage is in trouble. Your children are suffering. You need professional help." "I don't know if Kevin will agree to that." "Then you go without him. But someone needs to address what's happening in your family before it's too late." Vanessa nodded, tears in her eyes. "Thank you, Mom, for this, for everything. I don't deserve it." "No, you don't, but they do." She left, and I got the kids ready for school. Over the next few months, things slowly improved. Vanessa started therapy. Kevin eventually joined her. They started coming home at reasonable hours. They started having family dinners again. Jake's behavioral issues at school resolved. Emma stopped being anxious all the time. Lily started smiling more. And my relationship with Vanessa changed. She was more respectful, more grateful, more aware of what I was sacrificing to help her family. One evening, 3 months after I'd taken over childcare again, Vanessa came to pick up the kids and asked if we could talk after they left. "Mom, I need to say something. I've been in therapy, working through a lot of stuff, and I've realized how terribly I treated you." "Go on." "When I called you a burden, when I kicked you out, when I expected you to watch my kids for free, I was treating you like you existed solely to serve me. Like you didn't have your own life, your own needs, your own value as a person." "Yes, you were. And when you set boundaries, when you started charging me, I was so angry. Because in my mind, mothers were supposed to sacrifice everything for their children. That's what you always did. So when you stopped, I felt betrayed. I was tired of sacrificing Vanessa. I'd done it for 45 years. I needed to live for myself. I know, and you were right too. I was the one who was wrong. Mom, I'm sorry, really, truly sorry. Not just because I need your help now, but because I finally understand how much I hurt you. I looked at my daughter, at the genuine remorse in her eyes, at the growth she'd achieved through therapy. "I forgive you." "Really?" "Yes, because you're actually changing. Not just apologizing, actually doing the work to be better. That's all I ever wanted." We hugged, a real hug, the first genuine mother-daughter hug we'd had in years. "Mom, I want to ask you something, and I want you to be honest. When I called you a burden and you smiled, why? What were you thinking?" I smiled, remembering that moment. "I was thinking that you had no idea what you were losing. You thought I was just a burden, a drain on your resources, but I knew I had options. I had Margaret's inheritance. I had plans to buy my own house. I had independence waiting for me, and you had no clue. You were smiling because you knew you were about to walk away, and I'd realized too late what I'd lost." "Exactly. That's brilliant and terrifying. Mom, what if I hadn't realized? What if I'd just let you go? Then I would have lived my life without you, happily, independently, with the grandkids visiting when they could. It would have been your loss, not mine. I would have lost everything. You, the kids' relationship with you, free childcare, all of it." "Yes, but you didn't lose it, because you chose to change." Vanessa wiped her eyes. "I don't want to lose you again, ever." "Then don't take me for granted. Value me, respect me, treat me like a person who matters." "I will, I promise." 6 months later, Vanessa got a promotion. Her salary increased to $150,000. She came to my house with a check. "Mom, I want to pay you for the childcare you've been providing for free." "Vanessa, we agreed." "I know what we agreed, but I don't feel right not paying you. You're providing a service. You deserve to be compensated." She handed me a check for $12,000, $6 months of back pay at $2,000 a month. "This is too much." "It's what's fair. And Mom, going forward, I want to pay you $2,000 a month, like before, because your time is valuable. You're valuable." I looked at the check, at my daughter's face, at the genuine appreciation there. "Okay, thank you." "No, thank you for everything, for raising me, for helping with the kids, for not giving up on me even when I gave up on you." That evening, after Vanessa left, I sat on my porch watching the sunset over the lake. I thought about that day, almost a year ago, when Vanessa had called me a burden, and I'd smiled. I'd smiled because I'd known something she didn't. I had power, options, independence. But what I hadn't known then was that the real power wasn't in the house or the money or the independence. The real power was in choosing love while maintaining boundaries. In being willing to walk away, but also willing to come back when it mattered. In teaching my daughter that valuing herself and valuing others weren't opposites. They were both necessary. I'd bought a house on the lake. I'd established my independence. I'd set boundaries. But I'd also made sacrifices, when those sacrifices protected my grandchildren. I'd forgiven when forgiveness was earned. I'd given Vanessa a second chance to do better. And she had. Not perfectly, we still had disagreements, still had moments of tension. But we had respect, mutual appreciation, a relationship built on honesty instead of obligation. My phone buzzed, a text from Emma. "Grandma, thank you for dinner, and thank you for everything, I love you." I texted back, "I love you too, sweetheart, see you tomorrow." Tomorrow, another day of watching my grandchildren, another day of being valued and appreciated, another day of living the life I'd fought for. When Vanessa had called me a burden, she'd thought she was ending something. Instead, she'd started something. A journey that led to boundaries, independence, and eventually, real mutual respect. I'd smiled that day because I'd known I had options. But I was smiling now because I'd chosen the right ones. For me, for my grandchildren, and ultimately for Vanessa too. Because sometimes the greatest gift you can give someone is teaching them how to value you. Even if, especially if, that someone is your own daughter. If this story touched you, please subscribe, like, and turn on the notification bell for more emotional stories like this. Tell me in the comments where you're watching from. Somewhere out there, I might be reading.